Hello young little minds, welcome to All Fourth e-learning program. I am DNR, your physics lecturer. This is the third session, physics subject, third session. Now in the previous session I was talking about, I have started with a chapter called vectors. So I was telling you the necessity of vectors, why vectors, what are vectors, all that. So let's have a recall of what we have studied in the earlier sessions. So I was telling you, physics is a quantitative science based on measurement. So you measure. In physics you measure. When you measure, you get a quantity, value, magnitude. Right? So any physical aspect around you which can be defined and which can be measured is termed as physical quantity. Right? And these physical quantities based on their orientation are classified into two, called scalars and vectors. Scalars, they just have magnitude, no significant direction. Direction has no importance. So scalars just denoted by a letter with value and unit. Right? Vectors are those physical quantities which possess both magnitude, direction, which is of very much importance. It has got very good importance. All those physical quantities which possess both magnitude and direction are not vectors. Vectors are those quantities which possess magnitude, significant direction, and they obey the laws of vectors. They must obey the laws of vector. Right? They obey the laws of vector addition. Such quantities are called vector quantities. Well, I have given you the examples. Fundamental quantities are all scalars. Physical constants are scalars. Many of the thermal quantities are scalars, so on and so forth. Vectors, displacement, velocity, acceleration, momentum, force, so on and so forth. There are few quantities which behave as both scalars and vectors. Right? The first one is angular displacement. Angle of rotation, theta. Angular displacement is a vector quantity when you consider small values. Small angular displacements are vectors, large angles are scalars. Similarly, area of an element, area of a surface. When area of a surface is considered as a vector when you take it in a field, element area, right? So this area element, small area element can be considered as vectors. So they behave as both scalars and vectors under different conditions. Under some conditions they are scalars and some conditions they are vectors. Right. Later I gave you the representation of vectors. There are three methods of representation: graphical, pictorial representation, mathematical representation, and polar method of representation. There are three ways. Later we studied the basic properties of vectors. In a vector, the magnitude, suppose if there is a vector A bar, the magnitude of the vector is called modulus of the vector. It is the absolute value of the vector. Right? It's the absolute value of the vector, which is always positive, and it's a scalar. Right? Any vector, a vector whose initial point is not fixed. Any vector whose initial point is not fixed, they are non-localized vectors, free vectors. So these free vectors, you can displace them. When you displace them parallelly, there is no change in its, there is no change in the vector there. Even when you displace in any direction parallel to itself, there is no variation. Such vectors are called free vectors. But there are some vectors whose point of application is fixed. They are called localized vectors. They cannot be displaced as whichever way you like. Okay. Later I classified the vectors. Vectors are classified based on various aspects. When you divide the vectors based on their direction, based on their parallel direction, I said parallel vectors. A bar, B bar are two vectors. We were writing A bar, B bar are two vectors such that the angle made by A is angle made by B with respect to the reference line. Then A bar is parallel to B bar. Right? So these are parallel vectors. Similarly, A bar, B bar are two vectors such that angle A is 180 degrees plus angle B with respect to the reference line. Then they are anti-parallel vectors. I gave you the examples even for these things. Parallel vectors. You know, a vector is represented by a value, magnitude, value, let us say 10, a unit, let us say meters per second, and a direction, let's say east. So every vector has magnitude, units, and direction. Parallel vectors, magnitude may be different, the units may be different, but the direction must be same. They may be of different quantities, dissimilar vectors also. So the direction is same. Any two vectors which are in same direction are called parallel vectors. Similarly, any two vectors which are in opposite direction, they are called anti-parallel vectors. But like vectors, A bar and B bar belonging to same physical, units must be same. If the units must be same, direction is same and unit is also same. Magnitude may be different. So A bar and B bar are two similar vectors. When I add similar here, then it becomes A bar and B bar becomes like vectors. Two vectors A bar and B bar similar. They belong to the same physical quantity. They have got same units. Then if the direction is same, they are called like vectors. Similarly, A bar, B bar, two similar vectors where the angle of A is 180 plus of angle of B. Then with respect to reference line, then they are unlike vectors. They are not anti-parallel. You call it as unlike vectors. Right? So the parallel vectors and like vectors. There's a lot of difference between parallel vectors and like vectors. Right? And anti-parallel, unlike. Now let's continue with this. Let's continue with the classification. Well, the classification of vectors. Our topic, we are continuing with vectors. Now the third, later I have given you some vectors, simply named some tiny definitions regarding vectors. Co-initial vectors, which start from the same point. Initial point is same. Co-terminal, they end up at the same point. Terminal points are same. Co-terminal. Co-planar vectors, which lie in the same plane. Co-linear vectors, which lie along the same line. Well, direction need not be same. They may be in opposite direction also, but they must exist on the same line. They are called co-linear vectors. If the vectors lie in a same plane is same, then they are called coplanar vectors. The sides of a triangle, if three vectors are represented by three sides of a triangle, they are coplanar vectors. Square, triangle, all this. Collinear, they lie along the same line, either same direction or opposite direction. Well, co-initial starting from the same point and co-terminal ending at the same point, right? Now, next, let us talk about the equality of vectors. Well, equal vectors. Let's talk about equal vectors. Now, what do you mean equal vectors? Two things are said to be equal in our surroundings. Anything, two things are said to be same if the value is same. Scalars. Suppose if you talk about scalars, two scalars are said to be same if their magnitude is same. But when you talk about vectors, two vectors are said to be same, right? Now, just I was telling you, a vector is represented by magnitude, a value, a unit, and the direction, right? Now, there is another vector B bar. If A bar and B bar are to be equal vectors, if they are said to be equal vectors, they must possess same magnitude, they must belong to the same physical quantity, and they must be in the same direction. Then only they are called as two equal vectors. Example, suppose two trains are moving on parallel tracks, for example. A train A going towards east with 10 meter per second, then train B going with same velocity 10 meter per second in the same direction. Then the velocity of A and velocity of B are equal vectors. Suppose velocity of a body is 10 meters per second east, acceleration of a body is 10 meter per second square east. You don't call them as equal vectors. Magnitude may be same, direction is same, units are different. They are not equal vectors. They must be similar vectors, belonging to the same physical quantity, same unit, same magnitude, same unit, same direction. Then only they are said to be equal vectors, right? A force vector cannot be equal to a velocity vector, even though magnitude and direction is same, right? The vectors are said to be same if they possess same magnitude. Similar vectors, they must be similar vectors, same magnitude and same direction. Then only they are called as equal vectors. Example, the two trains moving on parallel tracks in the same direction with same velocity, 10 meters per second, and this is also 10 meters per second. Then velocity of A is equal to velocity of B. Equal vectors, In our physics, as you move on, you come across such quantities. Let me give an example. Impulse and change in momentum. You will come across in Newton's laws. Impulse a vector impulse, this is equal to change in momentum. You know, these two quantities both have same units, same magnitude and same direction. These are the pair of quantities which possess same magnitude, direction and the unit. So they are called equal vectors. A good example for equal vectors. Impulse and change in momentum both are equal vectors. Now how can you prove that two vectors are equal? How you can prove it like this? Right, let me show. Let there be a vector A bar whose initial point is, let us say, P, and let us say the initial point is O, the terminal point is P. Another vector is B bar. There is another vector B bar whose initial point is Q and the terminal point is R, QR, like this. Now, how can you say that these two vectors are equal vectors? Let's suppose these two are free vectors. What are free vectors? I was telling you, any vector whose initial point is not fixed, right? They are free to move. They are free. They are not localized. The initial point is not fixed. It is not fixed to located to a similar point, a fixed point, originated to a point, right? This vector can be moved parallel to itself. When it is moved parallel to itself in any direction, there is no change in the vector. So when the vector is moved parallelly, there is no variation. So what I shall do is, let A bar, B bar be free vectors. Now, so let A bar be in this position as O and P. Now consider B bar. Now shift this vector B bar parallel to itself such that the initial point of B coincides with the initial point of A. Shift this vector B bar parallel to itself such that the initial point of B, that is Q, coincides with O. So let me place it here like this. Right? When Q is shifted to point to O, then obviously the point R will be shifted to point P. These two are of same length. Right? These two are of same length. Same length in the sense same magnitude. They are along same direction. Right? When I shift this vector from parallelly to itself here, from this point to this point, like the initial point, when B is shifted parallelly, the initial point of B is shifted to the initial point of A, that is O. Well, simultaneously the terminal point will get shifted to P. Now these two both have the same initial point, same final point, both are of same length and they are directed in the same direction. Therefore, they have got same magnitude and same direction. They are said to be equal vectors. Suppose there is a vector A bar like this and another vector B bar like this, same length. Length is same. A bar is denoted by O and P. B bar is denoted by Q and R. B bar, again they are non-localized vectors, free vectors. You can shift. Now shift to B bar from its position parallel to itself. When I shift to B bar from its position parallel to itself, such that the initial point of B coincides with the initial point of A. If I shift the vector B from here to here, such that the initial point coincides like this, right, parallel to itself. I am shifting the vector B parallel to itself this way. So the point Q has got shifted to here. Now the point R gets shifted to R, which differs from the terminal point of vector A. The initial points are same, but the terminal points are not same. They are directed in different directions. They are not equal vectors. So the vectors are said to be equal if they have same magnitude, same direction, and they belong to the same physical quantity. Similar vectors they must be. Right? So if I shift, when I am shifting like this, so two vectors, even though magnitude is same, if the directions are different, they are not equal vectors. Right? The magnitude must be same, direction must be same, and I have given you an example even. Force of 10 newtons along east is not same as velocity of 10 meters per second along east. They are not equal vectors. They must belong to the same physical quantity. Right? Let me give another example. Imagine, consider acceleration due to gravity. We are on the surface of the earth. A body is falling freely on the surface of the earth. Acceleration due to gravity G is 10 meters per second square. Imagine an extraterrestrial space where there is no gravity, right? You are out of the space, out of the gravity of all these elements. Then let there be a spacecraft moving in the same downward direction with an acceleration a 10 meter per second square. Imagine a spacecraft out of the influence of all the celestial bodies, right? That moving in the same downward direction with respect to this and with same magnitude. Here this is acceleration due to gravity to the body, the acceleration of that spacecraft due to its own motion. Now both are similar. They can be termed as equal vectors. So they must belong to same physical quantity, they must possess same magnitude, and their direction must be same. Then only you call it as equal vectors. Now, how do you specify these equal vectors? By vector notation. I was telling you, you can express a vector by simple by just explaining it in English terms. A vector which has got same magnitude and same direction. You can express in English terms, you can express it mathematically, you can even express by diagram, you can express by vector notation. I have been giving you various vectors by vector notation. Now how do you represent these equal vectors by vector notation? It is like this. A bar and B bar are two vectors. A bar and B bar are two similar vectors. They must belong to the same physical quantity. They must have same units. So two similar vectors belonging to the same physical quantity such that mod A is equal to mod B. You know, mod represents the magnitude, right? The absolute value of A, mod B, the absolute value of B, both are equal. Their magnitudes are equal, values are equal. And the angle A is equal to angle B with respect to the reference line. With respect to some reference line. Right? Their direction is also same with respect to the reference line. Then implies A bar is equal to B bar. You know, this is called vector notation. I am explaining something else in terms of simple symbols like this by vector notation. So this reads the definition of equal vectors. A bar and B bar are two similar vectors belonging to the same physical quantity, same units, such that the condition, such that mod A is equal to mod B, that is magnitude of A and magnitude of B is same. Already they are similar, so their units are also same. The angle made by A is same as angle made by B with respect to reference line. Let's suppose the reference line is like this. A is making this angle theta like this. Even B makes the same angle theta with the reference line. B is also making the same angle theta with the reference line. Then these both are named as equal vectors. This is the vector notation. In English, how do you spell it? If two vectors have same magnitude, if two similar vectors have same magnitude and same direction, then they are termed as equal vectors. Well, diagram wise, I denote it like this. I was explaining shift B to A. When I shift parallelly to A like this, their initial points coincide. You shift such that their initial points coincide, then even their terminal points also do coincide. Then two vectors like this, when if I shift the initial point, then their terminal points also will coincide. Therefore, both are of same length, in the sense same magnitude, then heading towards same direction, directed towards the same way, in the same direction. So same magnitude, same direction, equal vectors. A good example for it is the pair of vectors, the pair of physical quantities which are said to be equal vectors, impulse and change in momentum. You know, actually according to Newton's second law, we get a formula. According to Newton's second law, right, force F is equal to rate of change of momentum, change in momentum by time. If I cross multiply, force into delta T is delta P bar. You know, this force into delta T, this is called impulse vector, which is same as change in momentum. A very good example for equal vectors, right? Good. Then later, let us take an opposite kind of pair of vectors, opposite to this, right? They are called negative vectors or opposite vectors. Negative vector or opposite vector. Negative vector or opposite vector. First, let me define what are negative vectors. So I was telling you, equal vectors are those vectors which have got same magnitude, same direction, and they belong to the same physical quantity having the same unit. Then they are called equal vectors. Let me represent these two, my hands both, they are of same length, same direction, both represent equal vectors like this. Now how about negative vector? Consider these two vectors stretched in this direction, right? Both are in opposite direction. Same length, belonging to same physical quantity, but direction is opposite. If there are two vectors A bar and B bar, such that they belong to the same physical quantity, first they belong to the same physical quantity, they have got same magnitude, their magnitude is same, and the direction, now they are directed in opposite direction, right? If that is positive x, this is negative x. If that is along east, this is along west. They are in opposite direction. Such vectors are named as negative vectors or opposite vectors. First thing, they should belong to the same physical quantity, same magnitude, same units. Their magnitude should be same. Just the direction is opposite. That is the angle made by one vector with respect to other vector. The angle is 180 degrees. Angle between them is 180 degrees. Such vectors are named as negative vectors. Let me express these things by a diagram. Suppose there is a vector A bar. A vector A bar. So OP, this is A bar vector. There is another vector QR, let us say this is B bar. Again you shift, let's suppose they are free vectors, non-localized vectors. I am shifting this vector to this. If the initial point here is shifted to this, then the terminal point exactly get in touch with O. If the initial point is shifted to point P, then the terminal point exactly meets at point O. So both are of equal length. Their magnitudes are same, but the directions are opposite. Such vectors are termed as negative vectors, opposite vectors. So one is negative of other. Suppose if this is A bar and B bar, they can be represented like this. A bar is minus of B bar. A bar is minus of B bar, opposite vectors, negative vectors, right? So how do you express this in vector notation? Well, what is the example for it? The example for equal and opposite vectors, Newton's third law, right? We know for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Action and reaction both are forces, equal and opposite, both magnitude same but opposite direction. Well, another example. Imagine, suppose there is water. A body is floating on the surface. Imagine, let's suppose a body is floating on the surface, right? Then weight of the body acts in the downward direction, W. Now the buoyant force exerted by the liquid on it, the upward thrust, buoyant force B. When the body is floating, the net force is 0, downward force is equal to upward force. So both are equal and opposite. They are negative vectors. You know, two negative vectors always sum up to be 0. When two negative vectors, opposite vectors are added, the net resultant is 0. Because both are equal and opposite, they cancel one another. So the vector sum of two opposite vectors is always 0. If A bar and B bar are two negative vectors, A bar, B bar are two negative vectors, then A bar plus B bar is equal to 0. So that is the reason why A bar is minus B bar. I have specified just now, if two vectors A bar and B bar are in opposite direction, if A is this one and B is this, then A bar is minus B bar. Now get this minus B bar this side, so I get A bar plus of B bar is equal to 0. The sum of two opposite vectors is always equal to 0. So if they have to cancel one another, they should have same magnitude. They must possess same unit. 10 Newton force along east cannot balance 10 meter per second velocity towards west. That is not possible. So they must belong to same physical quantity, same magnitude, but the direction should be opposite. Right? Direction is opposite. Then how do you express this in vector notation? Vector form. So A bar and B bar are two vectors, are two similar vectors. So you should be very careful while spelling the things, right? Not just two vectors, not any two vectors. They must be two similar vectors. A bar and B bar are two similar vectors such that their magnitudes are equal. Mod A is equal to mod B. In the sense, the magnitude, the modulus of A is modulus of B. Magnitude of A is magnitude of B. The absolute value of A is same as the absolute value of B. And right, the magnitudes are equal, and the angle made by one vector, let us say B, is 180 degrees plus the angle made by A with respect to the reference line. With respect to the reference line, then A bar and B bar are called negative vectors, or they are called opposite vectors. They are called opposite vectors like this. So this is the vector notation of spelling out the definition for the negative vectors or opposite vectors, right? So this way you can spell out. Here angle B is 180 plus angle A. What do you mean angle B 180 plus angle A? Let's suppose this is the reference line. This is the reference line. A bar vector is something like this along this way, making an angle theta, right? Now the vector angle made by B vector is 180 plus the angle made by A. It is theta plus 180. In the sense it is like this. Well, both are equal and opposite, right? They cancel one another. They are equal and opposite, and they cancel. They are opposite vectors, or they are called negative vectors. And two negative vectors, when they add up, addition of two negative vectors always give you null vector, zero vector. Well, we'll talk about that. So this way we classify the vectors according to their orientation, according to their existence, right? Next we'll talk about, next it is zero vector, null vector. Let's talk about zero or null vector. The next classification is like this. So better have a recall, just you always try to recall what you are studying. Vectors, types of vectors. I have given you various types. Representation of the vector, picture representation, mathematical representation, polar representation. Then basic definitions of vectors, co-initial, co-terminal, coplanar. You should know the meaning of these things, and you should have the examples. You should even know the examples for it, the exceptions. You know, in all entrance examinations, they ask you examples, they give you exceptional questions regarding these ordinary definitions there, okay? So next let us talk about zero vector or null vector. So simply speaking, what is null vector? A vector whose magnitude is zero is called as null vector. Any vector, a vector whose magnitude is zero, which has got zero magnitude, and any arbitrary direction, its direction is indeterminate, it can have any direction. Such a vector is termed as zero vector. Now you get a doubt. Doubt is, I have been telling you that the vector is the one which has got magnitude and direction, specified direction and some magnitude. Then every vector should possess magnitude, direction, and it should obey the laws of vectors. Now this zero vector has got no magnitude, zero. Then how can it be called as a vector? Let me give an example. What is the difference between a zero scalar and a zero vector? Right? You know, actually zero vectors are represented. They are represented by zero with an arrow overhead, arrowhead like this. A null vector is represented with zero with an arrow overhead like this, right? Then, so what is the difference between simply a zero and a zero bar? Let me give an example. Let's suppose you have gone to a bus station. You have been to a bus station. You are going somewhere else. You go to a bus station. You find two buses at rest. There are two buses, both are stationary, both are at rest. Now one is completely at rest with no passengers, no driver, no conductor, nobody else. It is completely stopped, the engine is also switched off, right? This is bus A. But just beside that there is another bus B, which is again at rest. But the driver is available there, he has switched on the engine, it is ready to go, and it has got a board denoting that its destiny is so and so. First bus A, it has neither, there are no passengers, no driver, no board to show its destiny. It is something zero, everything is zero. It's neither moving, no passengers, no driver, engine is switched off, no destiny, nothing, zero, it's just zero. But a simple comparison, when you look at another bus B, where There will be some few passengers. Driver is there. He has switched on the bus. He is now ready to move the bus, and there is a board showing its destiny. So from this point where the bus is starting, it is to reach that point. So there is a destiny. There is some direction to show. Even though the displacement is 0, but it is about to move and it has got a direction to specify. So this way you can compare a 0 scalar and a 0 vector. It is just a mere comparison. Not exactly the thing there, just to make you understand a given example. 0 scalar, it has no destiny, no direction, no magnitude. But 0 vector, okay, magnitude is 0, but the direction can be anything. You can assign any direction. How? Let me give an example. Actually, 0 vector, null vector has got very important role to play in physics. It has got significance to explain physical vector applications in physics there. There's a lot of physical significance. 0 vector has got lot of physical significance to explain some physics concepts. Example, look. For example, suppose there is a body. Just now I was talking about equal vectors. I was talking about negative vectors. Suppose there is a body. I am pushing this with a force F is equal to 10 towards east, 10 newtons east, like this. And now you are pushing in the opposite direction with the same force F is equal to 10 towards west. Now, my force towards east and your force towards left on the same body, they cancel one another. They cancel one another to give a 0 vector. Now this is a vector, this is a vector. Whenever you add a vector to a vector, you must get a vector. Well, these two are equal and opposite vectors. They are cancelling one another. Magnitude is getting 0. The magnitude is becoming 0, but it is a vector to assign. The direction can be assigned. It is 0 this side or 0 that side. So to explain the additive inverse, to explain the additive inverse, significance of additive inverse, you need to explain what is 0 vector. The necessity, 0 vector has got very good role to play, physical significance to explain various physical concepts. Another one, suppose a body is thrown vertically up. I am throwing the body with a velocity, let us say 5 meters per second in the upward direction. Well, gravity is acting in the downward direction. So as the body moves in the upward direction, it is retarding. Its velocity decreases. So when it is at point A, velocity is phi. I represent this by a vector. I am representing this by a vector phi. This is phi. Velocity at point A. So this is V at point A. Velocity at A. Then after coming to one point here, now its velocity is only 4. So I represent this by a straight line of length. Initially I have taken a straight line of 5 centimeter length. Now I draw a straight line of 4 centimeter length. B point. Now it has come to point C, where the velocity is 3 meters per second. So at C, the velocity vector is 3. At D, it's 2. At E, it is. Then when it has, now the velocity is slowly decreasing from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At a certain point, its velocity becomes 0. So it is velocity, which is a vector. It was having some value moving in the upward direction. It was having some magnitude, some direction to specify, moving in the upward direction. So, but due to some reason, some physical aspect, the value is getting reduced, and slowly it approaches 0. When it approaches 0, that doesn't become a scalar. It still remains a vector. So that vector which I have to define when the value becomes 0, direction being existing, such thing is called as 0 vector. Of course, after getting 0 here, the same body now starts falling down. So while going up, it is 0 in the upward direction. Then while coming down, it is 0. At that instant, at that point only, it is 0 in the downward direction. So that is the reason why 0 vector can have any arbitrary direction, indeterminate. Well, the value is 0. Value is 0, but the direction can be assigned. Any direction can be assigned. A 0 vector is the one which has got no magnitude. The magnitude is 0 and the direction is indeterminate. It can have arbitrary direction. Right? So it has got very good physical significance to specify. It has got a lot of importance in physics to explain certain vector quantities there. How to cancel? If one vector is added to another vector, if they get cancelled, I have to define the resultant. The resultant is defined by 0 vector. Right? So 0 vector A bar, sir, 0 vector, if A bar is 0, then it is represented as 0 bar with a 0 value and an arrow overhead. Now, how do you represent? How do you picturize? I was telling you, any vector is represented by a straight line, a line segment. Length of the line segment gives you the magnitude and the arrowhead gives the direction. Well, how about the zero vector? So, zero vector also I have to specify by a line segment of zero length. For example, if there is a vector of, initially I was telling you, the velocity of the body is 5. So, now I draw a line of length 5 centimeter, arrow like this. Later velocity is reduced to 4. Now I denote it by a line segment of 4. Later it becomes 3. Then I denote it by a line segment 3. Later 2. Then 1. And now finally when the value becomes 0, it is like this. Zero length. So for zero length, that is initial point and the final point. For a line segment, there lies initial point and the terminal point. For a zero vector, initial point and the final point both exist at the same point. Initial and final point both coincide. Well, initial and final point, when they coincide, I can take any arbitrary direction. It can have any direction. So I can assign any direction. That is the reason why zero vector has arbitrary direction, indeterminate direction. Actually, whenever a vector, whenever a quantity, physical quantity, if it is changing its direction, if it is reversing its direction, then it becomes zero. Say, suppose if I throw a ball onto a wall, ball thrown onto a wall with some velocity, now it hits the body, it hits the wall with some velocity, let us say 10. After hitting the wall, its value now reduces to 0. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 0. 0 in that direction. Later, now the direction gets reversed. Then it rebounds. Then again, in this direction, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It rebounds back with same velocity. So, when I throw a rubber ball onto a wall, it hits the wall with 10 and rebounds back with 10. Now, how does it do so? While hitting, it is 10. But in that minute time of collision, the time of contact there, the velocity gradually, suddenly reduces from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 0, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 0 in that direction. Then it reverses direction. So, zero vector can have any arbitrary direction, reverses direction. Later, in the reverse direction, its velocity increases from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Well, what happens there is again another physical phenomena. But zero vector is something to be defined there, is it? So, therefore, any vector, a zero vector is represented by a line segment of zero length. So, if I have to show a line segment of zero length, so initial point and the terminal point lie at the same point. So, I can take any direction. That is the reason why zero vector has arbitrary direction, indeterminate direction. Right? What are the examples for? So, how do you represent this? A bar is a vector. A bar is a vector such that mod A is 0 and A has arbitrary direction. Indeterminate, the direction is, and its direction is indeterminate, then A bar is a null vector. Then A bar is zero vector or null vector. Give an example, the example for null vector. I have just now given an example there where the body is thrown vertically up. When I throw a body vertically up under the gravitational condition above the surface of the earth. So, as the body moves up, its velocity decreases. It reduces and becomes 0. So, at the topmost point, the velocity of the body is 0. So, this is an example for zero vector. Velocity of a vertically projected body at its topmost point is 0. It's a zero vector. Suppose you are moving in a car with constant speed, constant velocity, right? Velocity is constant. Then what is the acceleration? 0. Acceleration of a body moving with uniform velocity is a zero vector. A body is at rest, it's not moving, it is stationary, then the displacement vector is 0. Displacement of a body which is at rest is zero vector. Suppose if a body is at the origin, a body is now at the origin here origin, then what is the position vector? Its position is at origin 0. So, the position vector of the body at the origin is 0. It's a zero vector. So, that way we can specify these. And whenever there are two equal and opposite vectors, when two negative vectors add up, you always get a zero vector, a null vector. Okay. So, that way you can define zero vector. Now, let us have a clear idea regarding the basic properties of zero vector. Suppose there is a vector a bar, or let a value n be multiplied to it. So there is a vector a bar to which a real number n is multiplied to it. This becomes a zero vector if either n is 0 or a is 0. So that is a vector, some other vector, let us say this is r bar is n a bar, right? Then n a bar becomes 0 when n is 0. When 0 is multiplied to a vector, a 0 scalar is multiplied to a vector, then it gives a 0 vector. A 0 scalar when multiplied to a vector, gives a 0 vector, a null vector. Now, what do you mean 0 multiplied to a vector giving a scalar, giving a 0 vector? Let's say, suppose if I am talking about momentum is mass into velocity. We know momentum is mass into velocity. Mass of the body and velocity of the body. Photon, consider a photon, a light photon. A light photon is moving with a velocity equal to velocity of light. So there is velocity vector 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Now what is the momentum? So force acting on it, or force on a momentum, force on a photon. Suppose if I consider a force on a photon, F is equal to ma. Mass of the photon is 0, right? Mass. So mass of the photon is 0. So the force acting on it is 0. What is the gravitational force acting on the photon? F is equal to mg, gravitational photon, gravitational force F is mg, mass is 0. So the force, gravitational force is 0. So when a scalar is multiplied to a vector, it gives a 0 vector, right? Scalar multiplied gives a 0 vector. Or any magnitude multiplied to a 0 vector is always a 0 vector. Suppose there is a 0 vector, you multiply any magnitude mass. What is the force acting on a body of, what is the force on a body? A body of mass m, right, which is moving with constant velocity. Constant velocity, acceleration vector is 0. So mass into 0 is 0. Body moving with constant velocity. Velocity is constant. When velocity constant, acceleration is 0. So mass into 0 is 0. That is, if 0 is multiplied to any vector, it gives a 0 vector. Or if any value is multiplied to a 0 vector, it gives you 0 vector. So that is 0 into any vector a bar is 0. Or any value into 0 bar is 0 vector. It is always a 0 vector like this, right? And another very important point regarding the 0 vector is, if there is a vector a bar, add 0 bar to it, then it leaves it as it is. There is no change. Whenever a 0 vector is added to a vector, the vector remains as it is, invariant, no change. There is no change in magnitude, no change in direction. So when 0 vector is added to another vector, then the vector remains as it is. Similarly, subtract. If a bar minus 0 bar, then also it remains same. So whenever 0 vector is either added or subtracted to any other vector, then the vector remains the same as it is, no change. If any vector, 0 vector is added to any vector, the vector remains the same, there is no variation. It remains as it is. So based on this, there was a beautiful question asked in one of the entrance examination, right? A good question like this. Look, there are two vectors a bar and b bar. A bar and b bar are two vectors such that they obey a condition a bar plus b bar is equal to a bar minus b bar. What do you infer? A very good question asked in the earlier entrance examination, one of the national entrance examination there. So he says a bar and b bar are two vectors such that they obey a condition a bar plus b bar is a bar minus b bar. Then what do you infer? Now you see, mathematically if you solve this problem, so this is a bar plus b bar and a bar minus b bar. So it is a bar. Mathematically simply you can just cancel these two. So minus b if I get it this side, so it's b bar minus b, this side is plus b bar. So when minus b comes here, there is nothing remaining on the right hand side, it is 0. So b bar plus b bar, 2b bar is 0. 2 cannot be 0. So b bar must be 0. So b must be a null vector. So my definition now, a vector when either added to it or subtracted from it, then it leaves the vector as it is. So b must be a null vector, then only when B added to A or B subtracted from A leaves the vector same as A itself. So A plus B is A minus B. Under what condition A plus B will be equal to A minus B? It is possible only when B is a null vector. A very important point, very beautiful question that was asked, right? It shows you that a vector B bar, whenever it is either added or subtracted to A, it leaves the thing same. You know, this is equal to A itself. It's equal to A itself. Then B is a null vector. A very good question to express zero vector. Okay. So in this session, we have come across, we have dealt with different types of vectors. I have classified vectors based on their direction, their magnitude, their equality, their opposite nature, right? And even when opposite to opposite vector cancel, what do you get? Null vector. So please have a glance over all these things, right? Make a brief notes regarding this and have a good idea regarding it, right? Thank you.